to like not do it. And now I'm on. So you can see the background. That's not my house, obviously. I'm, in a hotel room. So, yeah, I'm definitely live there now on. Oh, so I should put that over there because the comments come here. So if I put that, well, I put that, put you there. Right, that should be all right. Sorry for that glary light, but it's not my room. It's the hotel room. Doing a presentation tomorrow at an event. So, I am away there. You know, so here we am. So I'll tell you what we'll do is that if you do have any questions, and both on TikTok or YouTube, I only put it onto YouTube to go to the live stream because they've changed all the rules for TikTok. What do you call that other thing? Facebook. So I'm just using it on the live stream under StreamYard for Checkmate the Matrix. Somebody said something there. What does that say there? Company reply to my deed of assignment. It does not have my personal data on it, and they don't have to give it to you. Of course they don't. That's what they always say, right? Don't start doing the GDPR process and using the SERs unless you're prepared to go through the whole thing, okay? When they start lying to you and attacking you and abusing you and threatening you, if you're going to get worried by it, then, just don't actually start it, all right? Okay. Any help with getting rid of debt letters from parking companies? Email me and at gold@claimstrawman.com, and I can give you some notices. I don't really give advice at all for stuff like that, but I've definitely got some notices that you can do if that you can send off. Yeah. But there we go. Just if you're coming on there, so I've got like a few people coming on to watch on TikTok, a few people coming on YouTube. So yeah, I'm supposed to have Dr. Whittaker on, but like something's happened. She was going to go along and get her friend Kelly to come on, but whatever's happened, we don't know. I couldn't get a hold of them, so I thought, because I've said it, I cannot not actually come on. So let's just go and talk. I was on TikTok live, just TikTok, the other day with Chris Edwards, who, if you've watched on TikTok, he's very much for common law, but the philosophy and the mindset of common law. It's not just like, I'm sorry, well, you just said it, I'm not picking on you, but like, what about me parking ticket? What about me council tax? There's a hell of a lot more to it than that, we can't just be like, moaning about like, tickets and paying and stuff like this. There's a lot to this life. And this event that we're doing next week, which is Checkmate the Matrix Live, which is at the Biscuit Room inside the Biscuit Factory at Newcastle upon Tyne, is a freedom event. And it's a freedom event as much the mind as it is the body, and also spiritually, right, about how to actually live in this tyrannical world. So we're not going to be like jumping up and saying, this is how you don't pay a parking ticket. This is how you don't pay council tax. This is how you don't pay electric, gas. Come on. There's a hell of a lot more to like trying to actually be a man or a woman under the creator, and how to actually go through life than, trying to like not pay for some kind of thing, be it like, a bill or a tax or anything like that. And these things, by the way, I'm not being funny, but these are like, this is why are you sweating the small stuff, right? There's like millions of kids getting like murdered, like all the time, and you're worried about, oh, I've got a fucking parking ticket. I mean, go do me a favor, right? There's a lot to this actual life, and there's a lot to actually get the ethos of how it is to stand up to tyranny, and the tyranny is to stand up to all of these governments, be it like this, Stormageddon and the clowns that are running after him, or like, whatever country that you're actually in, they're all saying, "Hey, hang on, I parked on." Somebody messages me and says, "How do I get out of this? I parked in a disabled bay." I go, "Fuck yourself, pal. Get out the disabled bay. Get on with a life and do something bloody fruitful with." Sorry, rant, but Anyway, this cup of coffee stinks of coffee. I'm not sure if I actually cleaned the cup. I did, but I'm not sure if the hotel cleaned it. Hey, Bob, how you doing? So Bob's coming on. I'm talking to TikTok there as well, Bob. How to navigate the matrix. This is what it is, I mean, like, you've been doing it for years, Bob, all your life, really, and Bob, he's going to be doing a Qigong session at our event, 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, the 1st of February. So coming and getting into the actual, and it is the ethos of it, and what we want to get from this event, So Bob is going to be preparing people, hopefully that a lot of the people that are coming to the event will be there for the session and to get into the session and get their mindset ready for what they're actually going to be going through, which is going to be hard work, I mean, there is so much information that's going to be over these 2 days, 1st and 2nd of February. So let's just go a little bit through it for you to try and give you an idea. Hiya, Dimeball, how are you doing? Ace self-defense is on. The best way, isn't it? Ace self-defense. But, right, so as I've just said, we're starting off at 9 o'clock in the morning on the Saturday, which is the 1st of February. That's going to be Bob Sykes there. I should see, I wonder if I shared that. I've got this fantastic photograph. I can't really do it on my phone now. Him and Jean-Claude Van Damme, because Bob used to run the most successful martial arts magazine in the UK. So, hiya, Bev, how are you doing? And in the magazine, you used to meet all of the stars. I mean, real martial artists, not just TV stars. And there is a big difference, but right, to meet the TV stars is obviously part of the job as well. So, got a good photograph of Bob standing with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's going to start off the event on the Saturday morning. Then I'm going to introduce the next guy, which is the MC for the entire weekend, and that is Eddie Elwood. And if you want to know Eddie Elwood, go on to Prime Video on Amazon and just search Eddie Elwood, and it'll come up with his videos and his documentaries of his life, which is how he won 5 times Mr. Universe. 5. That's more than Arnold Schwarzenegger, by the way. And not only that, but the strongest man in England in strongman competitions on television. So he was a TV star. Then the video or the documentary of his life, if you click on it, you can see how he's just enormous. He'd fill this entire room. And not only that, but I mean, he used to run the security around the north east of England. And I have just started. Yeah, I have just started right now. So there you go. Yeah, but I'm on my own. I thought we were going to get. I can't even go and see anybody now. See if I've got any more. Mind you, I've sent off the link, so there's nothing I can do. But hopefully, enjoy listening to me rant and rave anyway. And we'll just talk about the event. So Eddie Elwood is going to be the MC, but I'll introduce him and we'll have a little chat because he's a good guy. He's an activist. He's been fighting the system as well and trying to, get his point over and stuff like that. So, and then after him, can't remember who's first, but there's going to be a lot of speakers that are going to be talking about, law. Chris Edwards is going to be on. He's going to be, if you're talking about private trusts and talking about like the law, the real law, not legal, which is just fake and made up and nonsense, but how to actually stand as a man or a woman under the Creator for law. You're going to have on that first day. Actually, maybe I could find out where the actual running order is. Let me have a look, because you shouldn't be able to lose me if I have a quick check for it. Where would I find it? There it is. Let's open that up just so I can see it. I'll tell you. Yeah. So, like I said, Eddie Elwood, and the next one on is going to be Mike Burton. Come back into the screen. So, Mike Burton, what he's going to be talking about is the financial system, on how to get out of the banking system, protect yourself from the banking system. Hands up, who loves to be controlled by the banks? Not me. Right? Who wants to have the banks telling them what they can do, what they can't do? What do you want that money for? I'm not going to let you have that money. All right? Who wants that? Who likes that? So what Mike's going to show you is how to actually use decentralized exchanges, how to actually get outside of the banking system, remove yourself from the banking system. All right? And that is the way to actually get more freedom. Can you remember? All right, I remember in the 70s when everyone used to get paid and you didn't have a bank. That is freedom. That is freedom. So that's what we want to go back to. Whereas now, right, when I 16, I went and joined the Royal Navy. First thing they did was make you have a bank account. Then they checked, because you used to get paid when I was in the Navy with a little green book. And you used to have to take your pay book, your green book, into the paymaster, into the quartermaster, and you would give them your green book. It would get signed, and you would get your wages. That was like in the Royal Navy, in the armed forces, right? In the 70s. But then it started to get changed in the 80s when they started making everyone have bank accounts, and then it would all get paid into the bank account on a monthly basis, because they're trying to control things, right? We need to go back to the actual 70s when you used to run around not worrying about who was looking at your money and who was in charge of it. That's what we need to go. That's old school, right? That is the real old school that we need to be doing. So anyway, that is decentralized finance. So you do that, right, by doing it with digital currency, believe it or not, and moving it away so nobody can see it except you, right? That is the privacy. That's what Mike's going to be telling you about. So hopefully that makes sense. I mean, that you might not agree. You might think, oh, I never even thought about it like that. That's not old school. Yes, it is, right? Like in the Royal Navy, when I had my little pay book and I would go and hand it in, and they'd sign it and give you some money for your pay for, I think it was a fortnight originally that I used to get it. Not a week, it was every fortnight. Did anybody else do that? Oh, let's see who we've got coming on here now. So Dimebo's in anyway. Hello, hola, and then whatever that says. An, yeah, just started, just come in. Trisha, I've sent an SCR to the council and received a letter to say that there is no such thing document as a legally executed liability order. Of course, to say that. If you expected them to play the game and go, oh, sorry, we'll never get right to you again, right? Don't start the process. It's a fight, okay? All right, but what you need to do is you need to actually go through all of our process, because there's a way to fight them, and don't start it unless you know the finish. You need to have a view on the whole system and what they're doing and what they're actually doing illegally. Forget about we're not obligation. Don't care about that. Should you be paying legality of council tax? Don't argue that. Not interested in that. All I'm interested in is that they're actually doing some breaches of data. That's a good way to fight them. So look at that, and that's why you do the SCR. But you've got to know how that works and all the specifics for it. So get into the background, have a look at all of the SCRs we've created. hopefully you've got them, right? If not, then you need to be looking at the group and trying to find out the actual notice that we've created, which, I'm not being funny, but like there is some great minds in the group that we run. It ain't just me. You got Dinebar who's on there as well, and the sharing from the other people is fantastic. And everybody looks after each other and goes round in circles and tries to actually provide the assistance and help. And the research is immense. Okay, hang on, throat's getting dry. Hang on a second. All right, so Ram, however you say that's coming up, awesome. Archie says respect to me. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Good, and good respect to you as well. Dorian's in. Jez, he's in. Oh, are you on about big Jez, not our little Jez? Right, that's probably who you mean, Dorian. There you go. Yeah, well, there we go. Look, see, salaries in Denmark used to be paid like that, and used to be paid. Yeah, used to take your little. It was green. I'm sure it was green, and used to take it in to see the quartermaster to get your wages. And then we've got saying, what's that say, Biddy? Evening all, evening to you as well. Is that 10:30? Is that what it says? Yeah, it will be 10:30 Pulse Chain, which is like the decentralized finance, how to actually get you. So now, honestly, the amount of work that's going on behind the scenes to look after crypto, love it, hate it. I'm not even giving anyone's opinion. You have to do what you want, do your own research, and make your own mind up. But behind the scenes now, there is. Do you notice how I do this behind the scenes? Because this is the scene, so that's behind the scenes. But anyway, so like, there's work going on that it will now establish it so you can never ever lose your crypto as long as you don't give it keys to anybody, by the way. But like, they can't switch it off, because once you've actually got into this system that's been developed, right, that we're actually going to be sharing with you, Checkmate the Matrix, once it's in there, you can never lose it. They can do whatever they want. They can stop your banks. They can stop all that. They can not let you buy any more crypto. But when it's in and it's working for you and it's actually developing, getting bigger and bigger and bigger already, all right, as well as doing whatever you want it to do, you can never lose it. All right. That is what is already going on over there behind the scenes, like I said, so Mike is going to be sharing a lot of that. All right. Let me have a look, see if we've got any questions. I know a lot of questions is not. Anyway, like, just so everybody knows what's happening, I was supposed to have Dr. Whittaker on, but whatever's happening, I haven't got a message back from her. So fingers crossed everything's okay. Lovely woman. And she's going to pick a friend up, so hopefully everything's all right. It's very windy, very bad day. But fingers crossed everything's okay with everybody. And we just crack on and just chat with each other and give you more information, and you can ask as many questions as you want. All right. Get a choky throat here. Okay, so I'll just have a quick look on TikTok, and I'll jump between, because I've got TikTok running and YouTube as well. I've got it on live stream. No, what's it called again? StreamYard, but it won't let me go on anything except YouTube anymore, or Exit will allow me, but I didn't put it on. Forgot. What's that say? I've done 3 letters to Lowell, and I've replied with a thing called a DPO. What should I do? What letters did you send to Lowell, and why is it 3? Is that 3-letter process? You need to be doing GDPR and just relying on GDPR. When you do GDPR, it stands for General Data Protection Regulations. Link it to the DPA, which means the Data Protection Act 2018. You join them together. You do your notices. You don't care if they reply or not. You are in charge. You're actually asking them to do something, and if they don't do it, then you follow through with the actual enforcement of the acts. Right? This is the thing that nobody seems to get, because they're so used to doing this 3-letter process or these things that they used to do. And I ask people, all right, so you've been doing this 3-letter process that you heard from someone. So how are you getting on with that? How many letters have you sent? They go like, 20, 25. Well, what happened to 3? There's no end to it, right? So, but if you use a process that was designed by them, all right, whoever them or they are, but well, I'll tell you who they are. They're the actual corporations, and they designed this system to keep you from getting into them or their system. So the richer there, you're here, and you're not getting in. All right, you're not getting in, and that's what this wall of legislation is there for, to keep you at bay. And then in front, there's the wall of legislation, and then there's the actual clowns in costumes. You may call them police, and they're the ones that beat you up if you try to get to the legislation. So you have to learn how to read it, use it, and then utilize it against them. And that's what this GDPR is. And that's why I've shown you how to actually do it. We do not require responses from them all the time to do that. What we require is them to just do whatever it is they want to do. Once you've filed your first SER, if they reply, they're going to reply with no full compliance. That's a non-compliant response. I don't care if it says we haven't got a deed of assignment. You're not allowed the deed of assignment. Oh, it's private. You're not seeing it. Oh, it's commercially sensitive. Oh, we all wear green suits and nobody else is allowed to see them unless you also wear green suits. Right? It doesn't matter. It's all nuts. It's all nonsense. So we send the second stage, which is the follow-up SEL, saying, I'm very sorry that you haven't followed it. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. It doesn't really say this. But it basically says you haven't answered all the questions with full compliance under GDPR and DCA 2018. I'm going to give you an extra, 14 days, whatever you've written in, to fully comply. Or then I'm going to, then I may, because we're going legal language, we may take legal action. We may enforce it, and we may go to the ICO. We used to go and report it to the ICO all the time, but now I'm getting a bit peeved with the ICO because they're about as much use as a chocolate teapot. There's nobody legally trained. You're literally talking to Agnes in the office, so they don't give you anything to actually go forward with. They just say, well, they sent you a letter back, so it's kind of a waste of time. And anyway, we're only saying we may report them, so we can go onwards. So once you've sent the second SER, I'm talking to a lot of different people here. I'm not just answering the one question, by the way, right? Then you can go on to what we call a letter before action. There's loads of different names for it, but what we do get back from solicitors and these companies that they actually are the same companies, by the way. So when you get Kearns and you get Mortimer and Clark or whatever they got, it is a debt collector. They're just actually sitting in the same office. This is my, well, it's not my desk. This is the desk here. They're sitting in that desk there, right? And that's the solicitor's office. And the director, the owners, is the same name, right? So just so you know that. So anyway, lost me point now, but what we do is we just continue writing to them and we tell them where we're going with it. We don't care what they do and what they actually don't reply to. Okay, hang on. Talking a lot there. I'm going to have a look. Right. So let's have a look. So on TikTok, not worried, but they are lying. They are. And is my details on deed of assignment. Right, there is no such thing as a deed of assignment, by the way. Well, there is, that's not true, but they don't have it, right? And I'll tell you why they don't have it. This is the fact of the matter, right? And I've seen so many responses. It's great because it makes you be able to create. And the only way to really get a hold of it, and I know I give tons of information. I really don't mind. I want to help everybody. But if you get into the group, it's so much better. We do have a private group and we'll have weekly meetings, and these people can ask as many questions as they want in the weekly meeting. And if I say something wrong or make a mistake, they'll pull me up, right? And so on, and we can have good discussions and go over it. And we all together work to find out the next steps and find out the legislation, find out the case law. and we share the case law, and we create all of these cases, defenses, and whatever against these actual, whatever it would be, but we're talking about debt collectors now. So on the deed of assignment, right, they haven't got one because they created a business model. Now, this business model goes way back, right? You know, when I was talking about, I had my green book, and I would hand my green book in, and then the paymaster would sign, I would sign, and they would give me some money. That's my wages, you know, for that fortnight, the 2 weeks, you know, and I would go off, and then 2 weeks later, I'd come back with my pay book, right? And, you know, if you ever wanted to, at the time, go into the bar, right, at the training camp, you'd have to give them your pay book. And in the pay book, it's got your details in, which included how old you were, your date of birth, you know, so you weren't getting in for a pint, right, unless you had your pay book and it showed you. So we used to actually go and borrow the older people's pay book so we could go and have a pint. You know, it doesn't really matter now. I don't think they can do anything about it now, but that's what we used to do. Anyway, but yeah, so like, you know, this deed of assignment and all of this has been set up since 1925, the Law of Property Act 1925, right? Now, like since then, well, there wasn't an internet, and there was not like the ability to find out how they were not having a correctly and legally executed deed of assignment. I bet you in 1925 they used to have a legally executed deed of assignment. But as they developed it and thought, no, we don't need this because we can make more profit right now, right? I haven't got I wish I had a pen. Anyway, remind me on somebody, don't send me any emails. Christ, I've got hundreds of them. Somebody like send me a message like in my private group in checkmatethematrix.com, right? Sorry, Checkmate the Matrix platform, which is it is on .com, but a different one. And just say like to actually research how many debt collection companies there were in 1925 compared to what there are now, right? Because it'll be something similar to like the amount of telephone companies. Because back in the day, when they designed these legally executed deeds of assignments, and they set up this, because it's not a law, by the way, they call it the Law of Property Act. It's an act, Law of Property Act, which means it's an act, which means it's not real, which means we're joking, which means there's actors, it's a play, right? It's a pantomime, right? So it's only an act or a statute. However, if we're following that theme, because they have to follow it, the corporations must follow statute. You choose as man or woman, should you follow that statute or should you be under law? For this one, we're going to follow statute because it's fun, because we can actually hold them to account, right? But I bet you when they actually set it up in 1925, there wasn't 3,482 and a half debt collectors that were knocking on your door every day, right? I bet you, right, that there was only a few. I bet there weren't that many. You know, like let's just say in the UK, and I'm not even going to guess because I wasn't around in 1925, no matter what I looked like, which is handsome, by the way, just in case you were wondering. But there wouldn't have been many debt collectors. I bet it was something like a bank division. There would have been. I bet there wasn't a true company that was a debt collector. I bet there wasn't. And we are going to research that. All right, we'll find that out, you know, and then compare it, because this is a business model that was created, right, to actually extract the finance from you, the people. The debt collection industry did not exist, I bet you, as an industry. Now it's huge as an industry. So they've created it and followed the rules and the laws and the acts, right? They call it law, where they have to have a legally executed deed of assignment, because it would have been swapped. I bet you it would have been swapped, but it would have been swapped probably from one department of the bank to the other department of the bank. We're going to sell it to that department. So debt in, well, definitely the UK, but I would say, because I've researched the United States, Canada, and Australia, the Republic of Ireland, and a common law jurisdiction countries, and it's the same. They have to have a legally executed deed to transfer property. What do you mean property? Well, debt is property, okay? And there is tons of case law to back this up, including the Insolvency Act. The Insolvency Act, you know, when you go bankrupt. So when you go bankrupt, what they do is they want to know how much money is in your property. So if you've got a house, right, so you're going bankrupt, you owe 50 grand, for instance. Your house is worth 100 grand. We're going to sell your house and we're going to get that 50 grand back, right? And then they say you're actually owed 10 grand by him, you're owed 10 grand by him, and her over there, she owes you 10 grand. So that's another 30 grand we're going to use as your asset. If you don't believe me, I couldn't give them monkeys. Go and have a look on the Insolvency Act. And it tells you that any debt is an asset that's owed to you, an intangible asset, i.e. property. So property can only be transferred through a legally executed deed. In this case, hang on a second. Right, I have to switch that off. Hang on, try to come back in. Hopefully I'm here. That is actually, take that off there now. How do you get the mic off? That's the doctor trying to actually call me. I'm going to see. Keep you going on there. Let's see if I can get a hold of Joe in there. And we'll find out what's happened to Joe. Let's have a look. Let's have a listen. Hello? Hey, are you all right? Yeah, I'm on there now. I'm on live now. So I've sent you a link. Click on the link and you can come in and I'll let you in. Oh dear. Right, okay. No worries. All right, see you in a bit. Bye, bye. All right. So hopefully everybody heard or didn't hear it. Well, anyway, so Dr. Joe is coming on in a second and we'll soon find out and continue from there. So it might be a little bit different conversation once she gets in, but I can continue talking about what I was talking about, you know, until she comes in. And just have a quick look on TikTok and see the questions on there. If on TikTok, right? If you are doing, or even anywhere, not just on TikTok, but if you're actually doing any of these notices, by the way, starting off with the first SER, right? You need to go onto the playlist, the YouTube channel, right? Return to True. Well, you're watching it if you're on here, but Return to True Democracy, and go and have a look at the playlist on debt. Not only there's Joe coming in, not only gonna add her onto the stage. There we are. All right. How are you doing? You okay?
Hi, Peter. Thank you. Yeah, bit of drama today. You know, having teenagers and things like that. So thank you very much for having me on.
Hang on 2 seconds. I just have to finish this question because somebody just asked. Right, go on to the actual playlist there, and on the playlist it tells you step by step how to go through the entire process. So when you're coming on there and you're asking me these questions, it's all the answers are already there. The templates are already there. The answers are already there. Right, step one, step two, step three, and how to actually deal with their responses as well. All right, so just bear that in mind. But anyway, let's go back to what it was supposed to be about, and to Dr. Joe Whitaker. So how are you doing?
Oh yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm actually, you know, that topic that you're just talking about, I'm I'm going through that process at the moment. I've managed to kind of somehow magically avoid it until now. Like things haven't really come to me. So it's really important that we all know this information and start, being a real pain in the neck for them, right? And pushing
Oh,
back. So.
100%, 100%. But just to use the way that we actually do it is we haven't devised anything. We've actually just followed the steps that have been created by them. So we use like general data protection regulations, as well as the Data Protection Act 2018, put it together and actually combine them to make what we call a subject access request, which comes under Article 15 under GDPR. And then you can actually use that to start combating what they're trying to do to you. And their responses will actually show you how you progress down that path. So yeah, it's very, very handy.
Well, really interestingly, sorry, I know we were going to talk about this before, but do you know, has anyone had this happen before? I actually, because I'm not responding and I haven't contracted with it's about the dark charge, and I'm not playing that nonsense, all right? Who's playing that game? And now the debt's been sold on to Baylis Marsden's, which everyone knows very well. Because I wasn't contracting with them, they've actually contacted my ex-husband. So they've got his details. Now, this is like, we've been split up like 10 years. So they've somehow managed to get hold of his records and contact him. So now this is a fourth party. Now this is a major GDPR breach, right?
100%. And that's the thing, you see. They think that they can do anything they want. I'm not even going to go in, are they right or wrong before that, right? Right, which is the same, which we never ever attack. Should you be paying council tax? I don't care. Should you be doing this? I don't care. Do we really owe the debt, or should we have owed the debt? I don't care. It's what they've done after.
Mm-hmm.
So when we can see what they've done after, and they're actually going into the data, what they've just done there with you, right? So they are breaching data all the time because they've got no legitimate interest to actually be going along the paths that they are. And you can see so many, or I can show you so many different reasons why that would be as well. But yeah, that's an interesting aspect. And we get this all the time, by the way. I mean, that isn't the only thing that we do, but it's like kind of a lot of people are bothered by that, should we say, because it's an everyday life thing, isn't it? You're trying to get on with your life, and then you get these people giving you all these annoyances of sending letters to your door and knocking on your bloody door as well.
Brilliant.
But anyway, let's get back to what we were meant to be, because I was telling everybody about you. Even before you came on, I was telling them what was going on and what we're actually going to be doing next week as well. So can you just introduce yourself to everyone? Anyway, I think what have we got now? We've got about 50 people on YouTube, and we've got 20, 30 on TikTok. So can you let them know who you are and what you're actually doing and what you have been doing?
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much for that. So my name is Dr. Jo Whittaker, and my background is as a scientist. Like my first degree is in genetics and microbiology. My second degree was in oncology. My third degree was actually in cancer vaccines. Right. And I left academia because of how corrupt it is. But I've been working with new technology all that time. So when 2020 came along, I was like literally the first whistleblower, because I'm a subject matter expert in cancer and immunology in these specific types of injections, etc. And what I learned from that was like I could the actual truth about what they are doing has come out like much later, but actually all the data and exactly what was going to happen was published 25 years ago. It's all there. Everything is obvious. It's not a surprise, any of this. So when I knew this, and this was just based on past evidence, I was literally probably one of the one of the first probably whistleblowers, because immediately I know how this is going to pan out because I've been in the lab and I know what all the results are. But it's kind of trickled out slowly after that time. But I realized I can't just sit here and go, oh gosh, everyone's going to like get these cancers, these autoimmune disease. I mean, all this was very, very obvious. I had to do something about it. So I researched like really fast and hard about detoxing the body. And I was probably researching, I mean, people saying, oh, it's crazy. I was like working full time, you know, I'm on my own with the kids. And I was like researching maybe 4 or 5 hours a night until after like maybe it probably took me like 12, 18 months before I really understood how the body works and how it detoxes. And I've developed a strategy on how you can detox the body. And I did it myself, and I did it on my family first as a guinea pigs and friends. And even though I was also a personal trainer, right, in this time, I'm always juggling very many things. The impact on clean water, charged water, clean with the right charged water, and pulling heavy metals and parasites out your body was incredible. My brain function and my kids' brain function, my ability to think, all, you know, niggles like allergies and things like this, all just went away. And I realized actually, you know, there's a lot of people suffering unnecessarily and in this constant cycle of pharmaceuticals. Even if they haven't taken any kind of injection, they're still having the same substances, very harmful substances, being put in them, either through the water, through the processed food, etc. So I then became a massive advocate and teaching people the 5 steps to detox, and the water being critical. So I'd send people on these steps, and what I found was like, actually, when people did step 1, 50% of their problems went away, lifelong illnesses went away. So I really deeply researched in the water and what structured water was. And I started to understand that we've been lied to about water. It's just H2O. And it's just like, you just get out. It doesn't matter. If it's in a bottle, it's there. Actually, it's really critical to our health. And the quality of the water, basically, and the charge of that water charges your biofield. Something most people are not aware of, that you have a biofield. They just know this 3D thing, but you definitely know you have one when someone is standing uncomfortably close to you, because you start to feel, don't like you, but they're not touching you, or someone comes in a room and you sense it. This is biofield. It's a science. It was like everybody knew this like back in the day, right? But now it's not important. And so what we started to realize is when you have a very strong, healthy biofield, a lot of these external toxins, which are coming from the sky, coming from 5G, from mobile phones and all this kind of stuff, your own biofield basically mitigates against the harmful effects of those things. And then I met Kelly. Unfortunately, can't be with us tonight. She's got like a family emergency that she's dealing with. But we're going to prove live on the stage there how big that your biofield exists, that it is extremely important, and that when you hold a mobile phone in your hand, forget about 5G, it's nothing to do with that. It's anything with a battery, anything. So anything with a battery, when you hold it, it destroys your biofield, and this is your protection. And you can, if you create a toroidal field using a technology that we called quantum frequency trace technology, you can restore your biofield. And the reason why we learned that is a work Kelly's been doing over 5 years, where she found out if you hold a mobile phone and you're grounded, like your feet are properly grounded, not to concrete or to your laminate flooring or your carpets, properly grounded, it mitigates the effect of all of those devices. You can prove it with like muscle testing. There's lots of different ways. And we're going to come on the show and I'm going to show people this, because I think a lot of people are worried about what's going on out there, and they don't realize You protect your biofield, a lot of that stuff does not affect you. I've not had this flu going around, or this, I'm not under the weather from all this stuff being sprayed, because I have a protective, it's our force. The movies tell us everything. We have a force field. And if we understand this, we can protect ourselves.
See, this is the thing, what the good thing is, like, you're going to be at this event, right? Checkmate the Matrix live. And what we're talking about is also how to actually, because everything is down to you. You have to take responsibility and accountability for everything. So we're actually telling people, we're not going to complain about the world. We're not going to tell you everything that's wrong with it, because we all know it. And, if you keep repeating it, it's going to piss everyone off. We're going to show you what to do about it. So, what you're saying there is you're going to build, or you can, and you actually do. And I know this anyway. This is why we've got you on. It's just like, it's fantastic to get the truth told about in these ways, that to build a toroidal field, it's in you. It's you that can actually do the work. So, fair enough, when we're doing it, you have to actually read and do some research, but it's still you that has to go out and do the stuff. It's all down to you. And if you can take responsibility and accountability for everything, then you are sovereign. Then you are man and woman under the Creator.
This is brilliant stuff, and I love hearing you speak on this topic, because it's absolutely true. When I used to, like, when I was opening mail and things like this, I used to like get anxiety from it, because I was a whistleblower and I got well screwed over, and it was all lawyers and all this kind of stuff, and it wasn't fair what happened to me. That made me very anxious. Actually learning about this stuff and taking this into my hands and seeing that I am in control. They're not in control. I am in control. It's hugely powerful. And the same with the health. And I think the problem is like, we have been taught to rely on the state and external people, and including about our health. And we get taught that we are not, this is what I see from the Truth of Community. And I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, you are important, and we need you. Your health and you being able to resist this is so important to what's coming. And you need to do something about this, because when you do, you realize, okay, it's learning something new, because you never got taught it. You never got taught you were important. You never got taught that you could do anything about it. You had to go to a doctor or an external person. But actually, it's quite straightforward. It's just different. And when you learn this, you feel so empowered. And all this winter, with all this, the spraying and this, no. I'm like, I'm not ill. I'm not magic. There's nothing magical about me. I just figured out some clues and I've put them into action. And then this is the feedback we're getting from people again and again and again, is like, oh my gosh, these things actually work. And by the way, we do have products to make this easy. But what we teach people is, we're just showing you like the gold standard that we figured out, right? So you've got something to measure against, but you can actually also do this yourself. This is also down to you. You don't need necessarily our products, and we teach people this.
So can I just go back a little bit then, just so because you mentioned the term structured water. Okay. I mean, I've heard that. I mean, I'm not going to tell people everything that I'm doing. I'm not trying to take your thunder away. So can you explain to everyone who's listening now what that means, structured water, compared to like, right, I'm going to go and get like a bottle of water out of a shop, or I'm going to get it out of the tap. What does that mean?
Okay, so when people talk about structured water, it's because they've looked at how the hydrogen and oxygen molecules collaborate together, and they form this shape, which is a hexagon. It's hexagonal water. So that's what they mean by the word structured. And actually, when you drink structured water, do you know, it feels a bit thicker in your mouth. It feels a bit thicker in your mouth. It's very, it does taste different. But really, what's happening in there is the charge of the hydrogen ions in there is negatively charged instead of positively charged. So because water is a polar molecule, you've got hydrogen and oxygen, so you've got should have a negatively charged and a positively charged molecule. Then that's how they make the structure, because you've got positive, negative, positive, negative. When you don't have the correct charge of hydrogen, it doesn't do that. It clumps together. Now, your biofield and your cells need negatively charged ions, which is exactly when you ground what you're getting. So in your cells, in each one of your cells, you've got these things called aquaporins. Now, the aquaporins allow water into the cell. They are positively charged. If your hydrogen from your water is negatively charged, it pushes itself through. If it's positively charged, it deflects it. This is why a lot of people are being told you've got to drink 2 litres of water a day. That's nonsense. It's because most of it isn't going into the cells. It's sitting in the interstitial tissue around the cells, not in the cells. And that's where all the parasites live. So this whole thing is to do with, actually, it's to do with charge and the right type of charge. And the water you get sitting around in bottles, just doing nothing, and the water coming out the tap is stagnant. And you know what stagnant water is? It's all stagnant water. And you need to change the charge of that water. And you literally, so many health benefits. You will find immediately that your left and your right hand side of your brain starts working. You're more awake, you're more alert. You can calculate and you can just think more clearly. That is immediate. And when you do live blood analysis, you see that your cells are not clumped together. And it's because they're the right charge. So there's all these benefits, as you know, Peter.
So I'm just going to put this up here. So like someone says, do you have any quantum water charges you're offering at the webinar? Well, I presume they mean that the actual event. If nothing else, you're going to have at least information about that or whatever. I don't know if you're going to bring up loads of kit, but you can answer that.
Yeah, I can bring some, and we can do like I'll bring some, because we always get asked when we get there, because people say, can you measure and me and Kelly, as much time as we can spend there, people obviously we do the demonstration on the stage, but we do we can measure people's biofields like on the side as well, which we're really happy to do. But we'll bring some stuff and we'll show you. Yeah,
there you go. And we've already got a volunteer that no matter what she says now, she's going to be volunteering, which is another Kelly. She's already said it, so she's doing it no matter what she says now. So that'll be good. So I mean, the thing is, it's all right, it's great, and they can always contact you later to get any kits anyway. But it's the idea of actually knowing how to do this, and that they have the ability to do it. They don't just have to worry about, rely on going to the shop and picking up a nasty. Actually, I'm in the hotel. As you can tell, I don't live in this type of place. Over there, as soon as you walk in the door, there's like a little tiny little fridge full of these bottles of water.
Well, you see, it's like obviously. I mean, the first time that they rolled out the injections, right? Someone said to me, "Oh, if they were going to try and hurt everybody, they'd contaminate the water." And I'm like, yes, because all of the toxins that people wee out, it's all going in there. It's not filtered out. Unless you distill the water, you're not filtering out those contaminants. So like if I do there's only a couple of, I don't know every single water filter, but the one that I work with is zero water filter. But I don't put the tap water straight in it. I boil it first, because most pharmaceuticals completely degrade in nature at 62.5 degrees. And the pharmaceuticals are not being taken out by these filters. It's little things like this. People know. People are like, oh, it's a pain in the neck. And I'm like, you are on a molecular level, you're 99% water. There isn't anything more important than water in your life. And when you neglect it, everything else.
Well, hopefully it'll come back in a second, just like that happens sometimes. My internet's totally fine. But are you back? Nearly. You came back a little bit, hopefully. But there, what she was just saying there, Dr. Joe, just talking about some people will say that it's a pain in whatever to actually go and do all of this, boiling the water, doing the filtering. And it's the same type of thing when people say, oh, what? I've got to write all those notices to stop a debt. Oh, I've got to do all that research. Well, it's up to you what you want to do. You can actually just sit there and do nothing and exist and stop complaining, by the way, if that's where you're actually talking. Don't give us any nonsense. If that's where you want to be, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy for you. But don't complain about it. Get on with it. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think my boy's gaming, and and he's got on his devices like these things to do, to keep him safe. But you're exactly right. You can't tell the reason why something's going wrong for you until you sorted your water out. And this is what I say to people. Because I've got this and I've got that and I've got the other. It doesn't matter what it is we're talking about. The first thing is the water, the most important thing. And until you do, I mean, like, you see a lot of these holistic pet websites, and they're talking about feeding them natural food and all this kind of stuff, but they're giving them tap water. And I'm like, it's got human hormones in it. Well, what do you think's going on? So you're trying to fix the problem that the water's creating all the time. And it's like, it's a backward way of doing it. It's a longer, more hard work and painful way of doing it, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you can sort of like do some real hard research into the actual structure of the water, really, from I've actually listened to a couple of people and spoken to a couple of people about that. It just makes sense, to actually, at the end of the day, when you know how much we actually are water, a lot of people say, oh, you're about 70% water, but it's way higher than that, isn't it?
Because so when they say 70%, there's different numbers, but it depends if they're talking about weight, volume. If you're talking about molecular, hydrogen and oxygen, you're literally 99%. The whole universe is made of water. Your DNA, your whole DNA backbone is the fourth phase of water. It's plasma. Okay, you might be able to look at it in a 3D point of view where we are, but it's actually water. And this is why they call it blood plasma, right? Because it's basically the fourth phase of water, plasma. It's got way more, because don't you think that don't you think they're going to try and keep this a secret? It's really, understanding water. And we haven't even talked today about how you can program water. And hopefully a lot of people have seen like Vader Austin's work and visually see this, or Dr. Emoto's. But when you drink tap water, and this can be proven, it can be shown, that the water will be imprinted with the last thing that it sees. And if anyone's seen those disgusting pipes that come out, right, you're literally having the thoughts and whatever trauma and whatever else has gone into that water before it's got to you. So I can understand how nowadays so many people are like, oh, my head's busy, and like they've got all these problems, ADHD and all this kind of stuff. It's like they can't think. Your brain is a computer. It doesn't have any thoughts. It doesn't have any memory. All of your thoughts are in your biofield, which is water. And it's coming from either an external environment, like the water you're drinking, the Wi-Fi around you, blah, 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 or your DNA, right, where you're storing your information and your knowledge, and your brain reads that water. This is not what we get taught in school, because otherwise people do things differently. So filling yourself full of different types of water and all this different kind of information, no wonder people's heads are like, ugh. But when
Mhm.
you start taking, like you said, responsibility for your biofield, your DNA, all this crap starts coming out of your head, and you start having your own thoughts, and you're like, wow, it's me. I can think for myself.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people like you hear it all the time saying, "Oh, I was just dehydrated," but it's not. It's not just about like having enough water, because I know like people have went on water like fasts and stuff like that, and they're actually not really doing much good because it's going straight out of them. they're not getting the benefits of it because it's not the correct water. But what you're actually putting, if you think about anything, the same as a computer, you put garbage in, you get garbage out. Well, it's the same as your body. Your body's a computer. So if you're going to put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out, or it's going to knock the machine in, which is what is happening, right? So like I'm at my age, right? I'm not going to say what it is, right? But I am
21.
here. Yeah, exactly. I am here. We're 25. I am hearing now, like every week, somebody my age has just dropped down dead, right? And it's like all of a sudden, and it was like, and one of them, like, I mean, I am, like, one of my friends, he was the actual tattooist, and I'm covered in him, and boom, he's gone. He was the same age as me, and he's just, nothing wrong with him. Like, he never complained. Another next thing, his daughters went, "Oh, he's dead, died suddenly." And fair enough. I know what people will say. Oh yeah, but they did this, they did that, and we're not allowed to say this, by the way. On don't say the words. But it's not just that, because I think that might be the actual finishing punch or finishing bullet, but it's what you've actually been doing all those years to build up to that point where they attacked you. And by the way, they've been doing all of this in the background with all of the water and the food and the air to get you to that point. And said, you know what, if we just give them a little bit of a push by making them take this extra pharmaceutical thing, then quite a percentage of them are actually going to go bye-bye. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I entirely agree. There's too many people out there that think that because they haven't taken any of the recent injections, that's it now, they're sorted. And it's like, yeah, they didn't just rely on that, did they? So, but you don't. I know that this is new information to a lot of us. A lot of people could not believe that this could happen, and I get it. But I have seen firsthand that people, in their 60s, 70s, and 80s have profound changes in their life and how they feel about their life and how much healthier they feel, and which changes their whole mood and outlook and everything just by making these changes. You don't have to start young. You will make an immediate impact. And what I've found is that when people start changing, their water, the effects are, they'll see within 7 days some quite profound differences. 21 days, they'll be like, whoa, well, this is like massive. And then that journey just goes on and on and on and on. Because you imagine, it probably takes you a good 12 months to get out all of the crap that you've been storing up. I don't believe a lot of this stuff is age, like, weight gain, hair loss, graying, and I've got grey and all this kind of stuff. It's toxic intoxication, lack of minerals, a lack of essential minerals which have been taken out the soil, like boron and things like this, and they build up over time. That's what old age is. But we can do something to bring that back as much as we can at the stage that we're at. I mean, I'm 50 years old, but will make a difference. And I look around people who are my age and I'm like, you look 10 years older than me. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like you just said there, you don't have to start young. And if people are coming in, I've just watched a couple of comments and say, I'm too old now, or what? I've got to start. It's just too late. It's never too late, right? And if you can start to help yourself to not feel bad, right? Which is like, you don't realize, some people, you look at them and you just think, they don't realize that they actually feel ill, because that's what they feel is normal. So
That's right.
feeling crap is actually normal to, I would say, probably about like 90% of people. So, well,
Yes.
I feel okay. Well, you don't really, but like, once you actually start to change a few things and you started to feel the benefits, you'd think, actually, I feel way better now. And I do believe, like, 100%, that the water is a major part of it. And then you could just do other things about, like, relaxation and meditation, which I know people laugh at, but it's so important. And you combine that. Hang on, just now I do this jigsaw with this TikTok. There we go. I did it right. Hey, another hour.
Yay.
But to add all these things in, which is simple, and I'm terrible, by the way, because I'm in, like, I'm running around like a blue horse fly, and just, but I still do that stuff. I ain't perfect. I'm never ever trying to say it. I absolutely not,
Mhm.
but I do a certain amount of things, and certainly definitely do the water and the meditation and stuff. And I'm a brilliant, no, I'm a perfect, no, but I've got to do little bits, and if I can, right, anybody can.
And I think that's absolutely brilliant, because a lot of people think that things are too late and it's not going to make a difference to their lives. It will make a massive difference to your life, I promise you. And the number of people that I'm working with that are like in their 60s and 70s, is unbelievable. And that they've had like this lifelong things that they just put up with. And you don't have to, and things will change even then. And I mean, it's not just about that. You're right. People are like, yeah, I'll get on, but ache, yes. And it's like, oh, I'm so, yeah, I'm so. They don't realise that a lot of that is intoxication, and from the bad water and all this kind of stuff. As soon as it starts to go, they feel 10, 20 years younger, and they
Hmm.
want that. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realise that was possible. It is possible. I promise you, it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, like that thing there. I mean, obviously, I've done so much sort of like physical activity that I do have niggles that I know that I've actually created myself. But I do know that if you're drinking the water in that sense, as well as everything else, by the way, you can't just go and drink a bottle of whiskey a day and then have some water and think that's going
Yeah.
to cure everything. That ain't going to happen, But like do it sensibly at the same time, and mix it all in. And it's not even as if you have to. It's not going to be like, oh, I tell you what I'll do. I'm going to have to start walking around naked then and be a hippie, or something weird like that. You just have to do these little steps,
Little
So I'll
step.
tell you what, I'm going to do the water, right? Let's give us a month of doing this water. It's not going to take us 7 hours a day to do that, right? It's not, right? And you don't have to go to the gym, right? Oh, no, can't be bothered. I got no time to go to the gym. Start with the
Yeah.
water, then do maybe, like, I tell you what, meditation, what, like every other day or once a week, sit and just like quietly meditate. That's not going to take a lot of time. You don't have to go to the gym.
Right.
You don't have to buy any equipment. It's not going to cost
Mhm.
you anything, right? And just do these things as you go through. And eventually, as you start to feel better, then it's going to make you think a little bit different. Think, all right, we need to start doing a little bit more about other things as well that are going to improve our lives and improve our health, because you are, and this is where I would come into it, you are giving consent to them screwing you over. And that
Yeah.
is where you're losing your sovereignty, because you're not being a sovereign man and woman under the creator, because you're allowing them to do whatever they want with you, and you're shutting your mouth and accepting it. And if you're doing that, then
Yeah.
unfortunately you deserve everything that is going to happen to you, because it's up to you to fight. And if you're not going to fight, you're going to get beat. Simple as.
Yeah. And my motivation, like see, so telling you look after your health. That is the biggest two fingers you can ever stick up.
Hmm.
That's the biggest two fingers you can stick up. Be well and healthy, not stressed, relaxed, you choosing your path every day, not your tiredness or your illness or your lack of concentration, and not being addicted to all the things that they're giving you because to keep you alive because of what they're doing. So it's the biggest two fingers. And I'm that kind of bloody minded person where I will be, no, no, I'm going to make myself, really fit now just to annoy them. But, I'm not a saint. I'm not a saint. And you don't have to be a saint, and you take it in steps. Change one thing a week, one little thing. Throw that crappy deodorant with aluminium in this week. Do this one week. Do this. And by the way, if anybody wants to know, they go onto any of my channels. I've got a Telegram channel which is called Plant Power Group, where we talk about natural health and medicine only. No negative comments. No black pilling in that one. No red pilling. And it's a brilliantly helpful group. And when people need help and advice on anything, they might say, oh, my nephew's got an earache, what can I do? There's such knowledgeable people in there with experience, and we share our knowledge and experience. Like, we try new stuff and we go, I'm trying Claudio Silver in my eyes today, let's see how that goes. So we share like real life experience. But also on my Facebook page, I've got two, because one I talk rubbish about, you know it gets heavily shadow banned, right? So, and then I've got a different account which is called Joe Whitaker Healing, and on there you'll find my 5-step process to teach you how to detox, how to distill your water, what to do. And I've also got a TikTok channel. So if anybody needs any help on any of this stuff, then, you know, just reach out to me and I'll put you in the direction, because I've taught people how to do this. And if you haven't seen it already, then I'm happy to put you in the right direction.
Brilliant, brilliant. So hopefully you all paid attention to that. Excuse me. And what I'll do is I'll put the links in as well. I'll get all the links off you, and obviously this is going live, but once I get the recording down, I'll put it up again anyway, and I'll add all those links and everything you've just said into it. So, you know, that'll help you get the word out and then get other people to see it as well. Because, yeah, I mean, and it is just like sharing the knowledge and joining in the different groups. And then, like you just said, doing a little bit at a time, you know, and think about like what you just said, right? Whereas you got that clarity and you're clearing that mind. Because what I deal with when I'm telling people, like, why are you worried about like what the government are going to say? Why are you worried about what like the debt collector is going to come knocking on your door or do this or do that? You know, it's fear. And the thing is, if you haven't got a balanced mind and a clear like sort of like vision of what's going on, you're going to feel the fear that they're trying to instill in you all the time. And how are they instilling it? It's not just the actual propaganda that they pump out all the time. It's not just like, you know, using all of these systems. It is the health, what you're saying as well. They're ruining your health because that actually drops down your actual normal like strength and vitality. Therefore, fear starts to kick in. When you're weak,
Yeah.
you can be
When you're
fearful.
weak. Oh, this is spot on. This is when you feel physically weak, you know, you will accept a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Very
that's the whole.
true.
So, you know, they take down the actual physical strength, and then when you've got your strength and you feel good, right? And like when they say, "Well, I want to fight the world," you know, you feel good and you feel healthy and everything like that. So you're not going to take shit off anyone. But when you're down and you think, "Oh, just do it. I can't be bothered," you know, it's like I'm not arguing. I can't be bothered. You know, we've all had. You've got a cold and someone's come up and bugging you. You say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just do it." You know, you just do that. Not that I said that, but I don't believe in colds. I know what that is, by the way.
Yeah,
But I'm just
yeah,
using it as
yeah,
an allergy. So, like, you know, it is what it is, right? About like when you're actually getting weak, and that's what they're doing. They're using all of the elements. We have to eat. We have to eat, and we have to drink, and we have to breathe. So those three things there, they're actually already using against you. They're attacking the water, they're attacking the food, they're attacking the air. Don't get depressed about it though, right? You could do something about it to stop yourself feeling weak. And then when you feel stronger, healthier, fitter by looking after the water, which looks after your body, looks after your food, looks after your body, then it's easier to fight the debts. It's easier to stand up and go, actually, no, I'm a man or I'm a woman, and I don't need to worry about a corporation that can't contract with me. So I don't need to worry about that. I'm standing here under God, so or under the Creator. So, like, you know, what authority do you have? Can you bring your authority and show me where it's from, or explain where it's from? And then they crumble, like the clowns in costumes coming up and saying, "Can I have your name and address?" Say under what authority, you know? But when you're not in that frame of mind because you're not feeling great, right?
yeah.
It's not just always about not being prepared. If you get taken by surprise, with 99.9% of the time, when somebody does something, knocks on your door or a bailiff, or a cop walks up to you and says something, you're not expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got mental clarity by you're actually like, you know, you're feeling healthy, you're feeling good, you can take a minute. And literally, when I say a minute, I mean a minute. Quiet your mind in a minute. Look at them in a minute. Who says you have
Yeah.
to answer within 3 seconds? Do that thing, feel healthy. And if you do feel healthy, then look at them and say hi and walk away. And that's it, you know. But people don't do that because they have this fear thing. And I reckon a lot of it is
Yeah.
because they're not feeling their best because of, you know, all these. All I'm saying this for is because it so ties in. That's why we want you there, because if you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to do the things that we actually show them to do anyway. You know, it just doesn't work.
I 100%. I totally get what you're saying, and it is so true. When you feel physically empowered. And I mean, when you're on the right water and you're on the right food, you literally, your brain operates differently. Your left and your right hand brain is together. You don't react to things. You don't have to react to things because you are become the master of your universe. And this just sounds like a bit like grandiose talk, but it isn't. I mean, the way that I think about myself, because I've really thought about this, and I'm really I have created me. Nobody else. I've created this in this reality that I am in, and my health and everything. And I know that I'm connected to the creator, the organics. A lot of this world is synthetic, it's AI, it's been here for a long time, it's not a new thing. And when you belong to the organic creator source, my God, everything is power. And therefore, when I had these few nasty letters the other day, I was smiling. I was like, who are you? Who are
Hmm.
you? I know who I am. You're just standing behind your corporation and your little letters. Bring it on.
Yeah,
So I
there you
know
go.
who I am.
Know thyself. Know thyself. Right. So that's what we keep telling people all the time. Know thyself. And when you know thyself, then you can look at them and say, well, who are you? I mean, excuse me, but what authority do you have? Unless you're going to walk down, carrying a stone tablet with some rules written on, calling yourself Moses, I ain't paying any attention, and that's it. And that's the truth of it. I hate that word truth, by the way. It is true or it's not true. Truth is an opinion. Okay.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
words that are true are coming from you. That
Yes.
rhymes. But on the day as well, I was on live. Was it last night or the night? I can't remember now. But I was with Chris Edwards, who's also been at the event. You listen to him as well, and it's all the whole thing. It's about being health. It's about being man or woman under the Creator, what it was supposed to be, and standing, in your own power because you created it. Exactly what you've just said there, and then knowing that and knowing thyself, then they can't mess with you because you are the power. And when they're saying we the people and we the people have power, yes, but only if you do it together and do it when you're standing together like that. Because I'm not trying to be rude about anyone else, but when they're not feeling good because they're not looking after, that's why they're getting bad moods. That's why they act that way. And that's why 75% of them couldn't even give a shit about standing up for themselves anyway. Because it's like, oh, don't feel well, just let them get on with it. And they won't pay attention. It isn't just all about being an NPC. And I know that term goes, oh, they're a non-player character. I actually say, well, they're just a grey, and I'm guilty of it myself. But it's not. It's probably because they're not looking after themselves. So they're not actually feeling part of humanity anyway, because they're
Yeah.
actually out of it because they don't feel well. So they say, I don't care. Let them get on with it. And then I'm just going to crawl under the hole and I will let them do anything they want to me because that's the way it is. And then the wealthy, these elitists, these satanic pedophile things that create themselves and go on, right? They actually start ruling over them even more.
Hmm. People are depressed, exhausted, and then they self-medicate with intoxicating substance to escape that. And it's a spiral downhill. And they've forgotten what it's like to feel free of any entanglement with anything, freedom to wake up and to feel good and not have your feelings be determined by external factors. So many people's emotions are all determined by external factors. I feel crap today because this happened or that happened or this happened. Your emotions and is nothing to do with your external environment. It's only if you let it. And this is disempowering people, and it is because and this is what I'm all about. What you're all about is about getting your power back, getting that power back. And the first thing is charge your battery, and your battery is charged by water, by
Mhm.
hydrogen, by negatively charged hydrogen. And once you got that running, bingo, you're on it.
Yeah. That, I mean, exactly that. There's your battery, and it's charged by water. Even if it was a car, it's still charged by water, and it is. So I tell you what, right? So everyone, listen. Dr. Joe Whitaker is going to be at our event, which is Checkmate the Matrix Live, which is on Saturday and Sunday, the 1st and 2nd of February, 2025. This is the first time that we've done this event this big. I've done events all over the country. I've done loads of them everywhere, but we decided we wanted to do something that was about moving forward, giving solutions, not dilutions. I don't want to talk any longer, about what's wrong, what the problem is, how bad it is. Isn't it crap? It's about, I tell you what, here's this and this and this and this. And if you do it, we can move forward and actually exist. Not only exist, but actually go and survive and love being part of this existence. That is what this event is all about. So having people like Dr. Joe Whitaker there to talk about how you can increase your own health and feel better about it, which will help your mind to be able to tackle some of the more technical aspects when you're actually dealing with these papers that I have to sometimes give people, but then also how to just stand with the power in, knowing you have the actual confidence to stand and look these criminals in the eye and go, and who are you? And what is it that you actually want? Are you talking to me? Do you have the authority to talk to me? Or even just look at them and just say nothing, because silence is power. And this is what this is all about, and this is why we're doing it. And this is why we've got people like Dr. Joe coming along, So I want to thank you so much for coming on and then, taking part in the chat tonight. So is there anything we can, you want to say to finish it off and give them a last little bit of intake or whatever it is you want to say?
Please come if you can to the event next week. So it's not this weekend, next weekend, because it's going to be such a powerfully positive experience. There's so much, I call them doom goblins, and the doom goblins seem to get the most likes and shares, right? Because everybody wants to wallow. But it's time now that we take our power back, and we do that together. And it's going to be such a powerfully positive event. I'm not going to be moaning at you for doing this, that, and the other. I'm going to be giving you very good tips and tricks of how to make this journey and how it's going to make you feel a lot better. So, please come along if you can't, but please carry on listening to very, very positive people. I know it's very easy to get, to fall into the doom goblin and it's their fault and look what they're doing, and they're doing so much you can do. I promise you, you have the power, and none of this stuff that they're doing can affect you.
Exactly. Well done. Yeah, brilliant. And none of what they can do can affect you. So you can let them do it and don't talk and worry about what's Stormageddon going to do? What's Donald Trump going to do? What's Elon Musk thinking? Who gives a shit, right? That's their problem, isn't it? They're not in charge of me. You know what I mean? Just go, you're not the boss of me. That's it. So, why care about it? Just do that. You do you, let them do them.
Background noise. Interesting, but kind of little background noise. You might be listening to it, but do not run your life on it. They're not going to be they're not going to be, mollycoddling you every day, for the good or for the bad. It's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. They are irrelevant. And you have to actually let them get on with their little things. So let them get on with their little pantomime. Doesn't mean you have to actually start shouting, they're behind you. You know what I mean? You don't join in. Just let them get on with it. Let them do their thing. You look after you, and then you can be the sovereign that you were meant to be. And that's all there is to it, And next weekend is part of that. So if you can, get yourselves along. And if you can't, there is a live stream for it. And if you get the live stream or you attend, it's all getting recorded. And so you will get that, and you'll be able to go over it and over it and over it. We are going to make it an annual event. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're going to help more and more people to actually start living the life that we're supposed to live and not existing the way that Stormageddon or Bumpy Trumpy or anybody else wants them to live. It's you. You are the only one that's going to save you. And that's all there is to it. I should stop ranting anyway. But, it is going to be a fantastic event. We are there to provide solutions, not dilutions. Move forward with positivity. The only way to exist is being positive. But we'll call it a day there. So anybody that's on YouTube, right, sign off now. We'll see you all later. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you again, Dr. Joe Whitaker, for coming along and sharing her knowledge and just wait until next week and she'll be able to do it. You should get up there and listen to her live. It'll be fantastic. So take care, everyone.
Thank
Right,
you, everybody. Much love.
along, and we will see you all very soon. And TikTok, you know, I'm glad you were on there as well. Now I just have to try and find all the technical. Where's my mouse gone? Not my mouse in the house. I've left my mouse in the house. You know, he's doing well. Anyway, end the stream. There we go.